So an important thing for us to think about when we look at these tools is not how fast can you do a simple operation, because honest to goodness, if I were the authors of a tool like DuckDB, I would look at problems like group-weighted summary statistics or simple group by with statistical operations, and I would try to make those as fast as possible. I would specialize to those because I know that they are very, very common things that will come up in people's benchmarks and very common things that people do in their actual work. And as a consequence, I would hone my tool to be very, very, very good at those. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that my tool is actually good at solving the breadth of problems that may come up in your work. And it may very well be the case that that somebody needs something that's just slightly more complex than a grouped mean. Maybe they need a group skew or a group kurtosis, and you only happen to make group mean and group variance fast. Well, whatever the case may be, any time that we need greater generality than the tool provides, we need some mechanism in which to either take that tool and pull it back out into our fully general Python domain, or embed something into that tool. And so, in the case of something like pandas, we can see that writing a UDF is not altogether too dissimilar from those two ideas. We write a user-defined function in pure Python, and it'll extract values or extract subsets of those values into the Python layer, perform some operation, and then dump those back into the pandas layer at some cost. And so we should really try to assess what is the cost of breaking that boundary anytime the tool doesn't already have built into it the thing that we need to do, exactly the thing that we need to do. Now, do note, in tools like Postgres, there really is no real way for us to cross that domain. All we can do in Postgres, if Postgres does not support the functionality that we need, and we cannot encode that functionality in Postgres, is to pull that data over the network all the way over to our application and do everything in our application in a tool like Pandas. However, do note that Postgres is much richer than DuckDB in terms of how you can extend within the domain. You can define functions in both DuckDB and in Postgres, but in Postgres you can define functions in a variety of different dialects, and you can also define things like aggregates and custom types and custom domains and things like that, none of which are available in DuckDB. Now, typically the example that we would show you for something like this is a dot product, and here you can see the cost of a dot product performed on a NumPy and DArray, on two Python lists, and on some data, including the cost of taking that data from NumPy, putting it into a pandas data frame, and then dropping that down into DuckDB. And you can actually see that DuckDB does fairly well. It's about 4 times slower than your raw NumPy code, which is actually a pretty darn good margin, especially considering that we're taking into account the cost of dumping the data into the DuckDB layer. Well, when we talk about crossing that domain, we oftentimes look at it in terms of mixing operations. Say, for example, the data is in NumPy and the operations in Python, or the data is in Python and the operations in NumPy. And we often see results like this. Here, if we were to mix that domain, perform an operation on Python data using a NumPy dot product, or perform an operation on NumPy data using a Python dot product, the speeds are actually worse than staying within NumPy or staying within pure Python. And so it's the case that we shouldn't cross this domain, because if we didn't even know NumPy existed, we'd actually be better off than if we mix and match NumPy and pure Python. Well, in order to show you that for DuckDB, it's a little bit tricky because DuckDB isn't embedded in your Python process in the same way that something like NumPy or Pandas are, where, for example, you have a representation of data that you can randomly access. So you can do things like get item, and it automatically constructs for you a Pandas series, a Pandas data frame, a NumPy scalar, or whatnot. Here, instead, we have to look at some other ways for us to take some coding or some logic in the Python layer and drop that into DuckDB. Well, one way we can do that is by using DuckDB user-defined functions. DuckDB does support the ability to define functions at the Python level and then to apply them to data at the DuckDB level. And those functions can be stateful functions written in pure Python. Here I have an example in which I'm going to do something that should be analogous. I'm going to perform a .apply operation down a column of this Pandas data frame, down the rows of this thing. And I'm going to make sure that Pandas cannot trigger a fast path by seeing that the simple operation, I'll pick the simplest operation I could think of, absolute value. Well, I'm going to try and prevent Pandas from seeing that fast path by hiding it behind a lambda. And so here, Pandas shouldn't be able to trigger a fast path. It should say, okay, this is some lambda, it's opaque. I'm just going to call that lambda for every row of this data set. I'm going to try and do the same thing in DuckDB, where I create a function. Here you can see the API, and it actually is able to understand Python annotations in order to perform automatic conversions from Python data into the DuckDB equivalents and vice versa. And I'm going to execute the same thing. And we'll take a look at the timing here. When we take a look at the timing here, it is somewhat disappointing. The pandas read pickle here you can see is slow again. Let's see if we can speed that up, making use of some disk cache. But what we'll discover, if we can get these times to run, is that our pandas operation is going to be slow. We know that any operation where we perform something at the pure Python level down the rows of a series or a data frame is going to be slow. And you can see here it takes 10 seconds to do that dot apply, whereas just doing the abs by itself will probably be a tenth of a second. But one thing that we can see here is crossing that domain boundary for DuckDB is also quite painful. Here we can see that it's at least as slow as the data frame.apply, if not slightly slower. So we'll give it a couple more seconds to see if it comes back to us. It does. And you can see here we paid a significant margin for this pure Python function, even greater than the equivalent margin that we would pay in pandas. So one thing that we should understand is when we use DuckDB, we can get great analytical results, but at some loss of generality, specifically because the cost of crossing that domain is going to be likely higher than the cost of crossing the domain for some of the other tools that we have. In other words, we want, where possible, to stay within the DuckDB restricted computation domain. We definitely don't want to have these kind of timings where we're doing worse than pandas, calling into Python and then back down to DuckDB and back and forth. So, in order to show you an example, I want to show you something that is a little bit unfair and a little bit on the pandas side, but here this is how it would look if we wanted to do a group by with a user-defined function. Here I'm going to give it a user-defined function z-score in order to perform a z or z transform of this data, that is, subtract out the mean and divide by the standard deviation, a very common statistical transformation that we might do prior to any data analysis. And I could write that z-score in some fashion that might be pulling the data out of DuckDB and then putting it down somewhere, but I think that likely that's going to be very slow. So the most likely equivalent that I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to figure out how can I take something like that z-score that exists in scipy.stats and encode it in SQL so I stay within DuckDB. And it's a little bit clumsy, and I need to know a little bit of SQL to be able to do this. I'll first create a subquery here that computes the grouped means and the grouped standard deviations, and then I'll join against that subquery. Here you can see a little bit of something interesting in DuckDB, the ability to specify an SQL operation separate from the execution of that operation. And I'll take each value and subtract the mean and divide by the standard deviation. Well, if I run the timing on this, I'll see, and I'll do, of course, the same thing in Postgres as well, just to get some comparative timings to see how DuckDB compares against Postgres. Well, as the timing measurements come in, one thing that I would note is it's not always necessarily the case that you know how to perform that transformation. You may be really scratching your head to say, I can do this thing really easy using something that already exists in SciPy, and if I need to stay within the fast part of DuckDB, I'm going to have to figure out or know how to do that myself. So it may not be the case that you know exactly what the operation is, and you'll have to learn. Second, it may sometimes be very difficult for you to figure out how to express that operation in SQL. I would say that DuckDB is towing a very, very thin line between the idea that pandas, as it's used by many people, is a very confusing tool. And as a consequence, people get they find themselves going in circles trying to figure out how to express something fluently and quickly in pandas. And if you believe me, I would say that the reason for that is they fight against pandas. They're not using indexing properly. And as a consequence, they're fighting against the underlying design of the tool. Well, whatever the case may be, I don't think that it is credible to say that SQL is necessarily that much easier for people to understand how to use properly. And in fact, in my experience, I find that oftentimes, just as people scratch their head trying to figure out, how do I do this efficiently in pandas? They scratch their head and they say, how do I do this at all in SQL? At least we know that we can loop over the rows of a data frame to do something extraordinarily inefficiently in pandas. Whereas in SQL, we may not even know, other than dropping down to some PL/PG/SQL, some basically imperative code that we've written in Postgres, how to even express something in SQL itself. But whatever the case may be, you can see we actually don't get a very good result from this. That SciPy z-score is going to be much faster than this DuckDB here. And we can see, unfortunately, our Postgres version of this is even worse than the DuckDB version. It's actually quite slow. I'd say that Postgres is really not the tool for doing these tail-end analytics very quickly. It's probably a better tool for dealing with very, 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 very large data sets, especially if those data sets are not on SSDs or on spinning Rust, or very complex data sets with complex modeling.